Live from the apocalypse. The church is congregating. This is State of the Game. Welcome. I am the Lorne Michaels of Free Music Empire, successful. Regardless, I don't know what that would be, but I think I'm it. So my co-host joins me every week. He's as slick as Steven Seagal's hair in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
KD, thank you for being here. And you've heard of the monsters of the Midway. We got the beasts of the Bronx here today. I am so excited. We have an MC and a producer. The MC, so many quotables. Let me try and get one. I'm gonna say, when you go out seeking revenge, make sure to dig 2 graves.
Oh,
Okay.
Bloo Azul.
Ooh, peace, man. What's going on?
Thank you for being here.
What's going on?
And one of like everybody's favorite producer in terms of the underground. People there's no bad words to be said about this gentleman, and I can't wait to kick my insane theory about his style that I have researched. Okay, my Spanish Ran theory. Thank you for showing Spanish Ran. I'm glad to talk to you.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for having us, man. That's dope. Thank you.
Okay, this has been for like years coming, right? Like we had a Spanish Ran episode last year.
Yes,
Was
sir.
it last year? I feel like it was like 2 years ago, maybe.
Years ago, maybe that was. We've been
2020,
repping.
I believe. Yeah, 2020.
We've been
Yeah, wow.
I wanted to get you in on that. Yeah.
Wow.
Seemed like yesterday, man. Dope
Yeah.
episode, by the way. A very dope episode. I appreciate that.
That's awesome. No, it was it's been great to watch everything grow. With my first question for the two of you, because the two of you have forged a really interesting relationship, right? You have relationships with everybody that's different, Ran, and I think that's cool. Your relationship with Tree Mason is different. Aldo, all that stuff. By the way, Aldo terrifies K Diggy, and rightfully so. I'm still terrified of Aldo from a mixtape he released in 2009 that I'll never forget.
Wow.
Man.
But the Bloo Ran relationship, did that blow up with MF Bloo? Am I imagining that? Was that a turning point?
Nah, it blew up 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I knew that man was a problem when I first met him when we were kids. So whatever happened afterwards,
Yeah.
it was already something that we both knew, but now pretty much majority of the world is gonna know or already know, So that
And we both met on music too, So that's the beauty of the start of the friendship. You feel me? Like it was off music.
Yeah, I mean that was just something that me firsthand from the outside looking in, I already knew that he was going to be talented. When we first started doing music, he just had a niche behind him. Everything. He had the whole thing going on, and when we were 16, we thought we were dope. Obviously, when you're 16 compared to what you're doing now, you always know that damn, I fucking sucked back then. But to me, but to me during that time, I thought he was the most illest rapper I ever heard, and I still hold that to this day. You know what I mean? Even now, 20 years later. So my thoughts has never changed. He has only got greater. You know what I mean? It's going to get better. So
we was outside. We was outside, like really, really out there trying to show, before the social media shit. So you would have to go to areas, just to show yourself. So yeah, it was a lot more show face than being outside.
We used to set up battle raps outside, and he would be the first one in line, ready to go at anybody and everybody, and just pretty much tear their heads off. Obviously some pure hip hop shit. Like anybody who rap who thought they were dope, just go outside and let's see who's the dopest. On some purists outside in the park after school. You're dope. Bet you got to battle my man. I'll pretty much Don King it a lot. And
yeah, facts.
Pretty much Blue would get their money. To like destroy them and take all their money. So that's pretty much where we come from.
Mm-hmm.
Did you battle rap as well, or were you just listening for?
Well, me, I used to battle rap, but
Oh.
yeah, I used to battle rap. Yeah, well, I mean, come on, it comes with the territory, right? Like
But
I didn't start making beats at all. I actually was
he was
far.
actually rapping. Like he
Yeah,
was doing the thing, but he swayed more into the beat things. So he just went crazy there. You know what I mean?
yeah. Producing was far from my thought. I was always trying to do something with music. Producing. I mean, not outside of producing, rapping, engineering, A&Ring. Like I was doing something with music. So and then production was like pretty much the last piece of the puzzle. And I just learned. I just started watching people before me doing it that was really good. And then I found my niche. And Blue was one of the first people that believed in my niche. And that's pretty much what took it off. And then we just started progressing and started doing it even more and took it more serious. And then from there, we just was like, fuck it. Like, why we're holding all this music for? We need to start dropping. And 2018 was pretty much like the mark of it. Like, this is what we got to do. Fuck it. We don't care what anybody thinks. We know we're dope. As long as we know we're dope, let's just keep on doing it and be consistent.
Yeah, had a lot of things in the chamber. We had so many songs. I mean, it's still now that people never heard that. Like, yo, these songs are really, really fire. Like, even now, hearing it now, it doesn't sound dated at all. It sounds beautiful. Like, so that's why we knew we had something special, you know?
Yeah.
So
when did you start recording songs together? Like what year?
Recording songs together, like 2012, right? 2011.
Oh, wow.
I mean, no, we go further, like 20, like 2006, 2000, but taking it seriously, like 2015, 2014.
Yo, bro, niggas made an album on a cassette tape, bro. Like it was like,
oh, that's even longer. Yeah, it's before that.
Of like that, yeah, we were still young then, but like it was crazy, bro. Niggas made a whole album on the fucking cassette tape. Had to use the headphones for a microphone. Like
we were 16, we were 15, 16, no, 16, 17 years old, and Blue had the crib open, and I would cut school, and I would just run to his crib, and we'll grab instrumentals, and we thought we were doing something. We really thought we were really gonna get a deal out of it. Like we went to the house, put instrumentals on, and started rapping on everything. Had side A, side B, named album title, everything.
Yo, intro,
outro, interludes,
fucking skits, yo,
everything. And we really thought we were gonna get a deal out of that, like for sure. Like this is gonna be out of here. And that was 2001, 2002, but like really recording like in the studio, like it was like a little like pieces like from 2004 every now and then to 2000. But for me personally, my ear for engineering as far as like the quality goes was always so picky. So a lot of the engineers, there was just dudes that just had studios, but they didn't really know how to really mix and master the way I would hear it on pretty much as cliche as it sounds, like the radio, you know? I'm like, this just sounds like a fucking cave, like we're in a hallway. So for me, it was like, I was very picky with that shit. And, but you know, like it's just a learning process. And as time progressed and grew, I built a studio in my own house after I found out that people were doing that in their own crib. And, then we started really recording. And then from there, I went to school for engineering just because I felt like I needed it to learn, not just record and had this shit sound rough. You know, I wanted to really like learn how to progress the sound. So when I went to school, I built a studio, and then that's when we started really recording. So like, 2009 to like 2015, we started really just testing the waters to see how this shit's gonna sound, the quality, everything. Because the raps was always gonna be good. The beats was always going to be good. It's just pretty much the quality and sonically, how's it going to sound? That was always being.
Didn't know that it was going to be now. Now it's supposed to be the time that we supposed to be showing shit, you know? Like, it was a timing, because even just thinking about it and looking back then, it wouldn't have made sense back then, you know? It makes sense, you know? So, like, what we got going now, this whole time period of things, it's beautiful, you know? This was all part of the plan.
Yeah, it was all designed. It was all designed to be that way. Like I guarantee the stuff that we did probably in 2013 probably would have been as good as the shit that we're doing now. And then everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. But yeah, we go way back, like from recording, for years.
Yeah,
it sounds like you got.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you guys got your 10,000 hours of practicing.
Yeah.
Not about that.
No, without
it. Shit, nigga. Like, word.
Yeah. We'll for sure know what we want, how we're gonna do it. There's really no
word, everything.
there's really no thought process behind it. It wasn't like, are we sure? It's pretty much like, this is gonna go. Let's just do it. Like, you know, and even the joints that we're unsure about later on make sense. Like, all right, we can use this.
Yeah, we got so much energy of good shit that even the unsure is like, even though we're thinking that way, it's gonna be a guarantee hit regardless. And we're just like, oh yeah, we knew, but fuck, you know.
Probably not for this project, probably in the project later, or probably 2 projects down. Yep.
Yeah, no, there was a great snippet that I caught on your Instagram, Blue, of you just, you know, like living near Big Pun's house and like knowing it was Big Pun's house. And like people who don't live in the Bronx, talk to me about like the kind of insular nature of the Bronx and just knowing everybody, seeing everybody, and how that affected you coming up.
I mean, yeah, I had spoken before, you know, not that the Bronx is small, but I mean, I guess at that time when I was growing up, it did feel small because, you know, you would see everybody around, you know, that, and I spoke about this once before, but like, yeah, it's really local. You can run into anybody any given time. I mean, of course, I know New York is like that in general, but we're talking about an earlier time, you know, in that kind of era, especially before social media and any of that. So like, so to see somebody was always like, oh, but with people like Pun and all them, you know, I mean, you would see them in neighborhoods so often that it not that it didn't surprise you anymore, but it was just like a normal thing, you know what I mean? And I think that was a comfort that was felt in that, knowing too that how fucking nasty they were at what they did. You know what I mean? These guys was incredibly nice. Freaking, I was saying, yeah, I had lived next door to Triple Sage, so like he was part of the terror squad there. Yeah, and so you know, like he would go to like softball games with Fat Joe and stuff like that. You know, it was real personal, you know, and just being a fan in general of the music and how nice they rap, and I wanted to be a rap, but at that time too, it fucking clenched it, you know, it joined together, it felt proper, it felt right, you know. So yeah, man, it made a big impact. I ain't gonna lie, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, being able to see that as a pace setter and kind of move towards it. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. And the interesting thing is, I was thinking about this today because I love Blue Moon. I think Blue Moon is fantastic.
Appreciate it.
It reminds me of, because I've always said, if you want to understand Blue and Spanish Ran, you need to listen to Gracias. That is where you start. To me. And so
True.
Blue reminds me of that. It has such a perfect opening and ending. And it got me thinking, I was like, the Spanish Ran collective has the best EPs of any collective that I know of.
Wow. Thank you, man.
Just in terms of 4 or 5 songs, no wasted space, killers, you know.
Wow.
Talk to me about designing that and about, like, there just aren't many long albums you guys release, right? 5 songs here, 4 songs here, 11 songs, you know, on MF Blue, 10 songs on Once in a Blue. Like, how do you feel about avoiding long albums? Like, is that a design?
Yeah, no, we've talked about that, you know, of course, because, you know, you're in a time now where people's attention span is just really, really, really low, you know?
Yeah.
And get through a 3-minute song and this, you know, it's a lot, you know? So it's I like, well, me and Percy like to do things like straight to the point, but it still sounds amazing, you know?
Yeah, I try to, as far as like sequencing the album, I don't want to make it seem like it's track 1, track 2, track 3. Like this is track. I wanted to make it like pretty much like a score. Like if you're walking down to a movie scene, and it's pretty much one of those feels. Or if you're driving, you could just play it through without having to skip the album and everything. Like I'm not really big on that. I like it to be a seamless flow album. So that's pretty much how that comes with the design of it. So I can't imagine doing that for 13 songs or 14 songs, because then it becomes a little long-winded. And I mean, depending on this on a certain project or the certain person too, right? But for me, I think 10 songs, 11 songs at that is probably like the perfect project, enough that you could really listen to it, live with it, and pretty much play it back, you know, rather than 15, 16 songs and be like, fuck, I gotta go do another 16 songs. And you know what I mean? It could be a little like too much, you know,
Right.
especially nowadays, you know. So yeah, 10 songs is pretty much the max that we like to go with it. 11 probably the most. But yeah.
I'd be like 20 songs. Like, y'all be forgetting, bro. Like, yo, that shit used to be like wild songs, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, what album has 20 songs? But the Busta Rhymes album was like 27 songs, right? Like it was just it was like Jesus Christ. Like I can't.
Word.
You're both in luck. As we stand here today, the game is about to release a 30-song album with an Eminem diss on it, and I think that's coming out in a few days. So
I can't wait.
Oh, wow.
I can't wait.
Oh man. Didn't he retire? I thought he retired like 2 years ago, didn't he?
Game will never retire. Come on.
It's like
I mean, yo, we need a 30-song album, bro. You know what I mean? Fucking that.
Or that all right, that's a pet peeve of mine. 30-song albums and a person who drops a project every week or every month.
Oh, yeah.
Like I gotta live with I mean, listen, depending on the like if it's one artist, you shouldn't be dropping a project every month. You should hold that in the stash and break it out, separate the project a couple months, 6 months. Give it time to live, you know. Not every month. Every month is too much.
That's
like the equivalent of just dunking somebody's head in the water, bro. You just like
the funny part about I just wanted to follow before you go. The funny part about that Ran is nobody rolls out albums anymore. So they're all surprise drops, right? So they're surprise dropping new albums every week to people who don't know it's coming. And they're just kind of, it's data dumps at some point. It's very odd. Great.
Crazy.
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
No, do your thing.
I was gonna say, like, of the songs that you've created, what percentage do you think are still in the vault? If you had to give it a number.
About like 100. 100. Yeah, we have with Bloo alone was probably like at least 100 songs.
Okay. See. So how many of the songs you've created, like what percentage?
Oh, they haven't. Probably like 75% of music that I still got in the hard drive that from different individuals, from Bloo to Aldo to Extreme Mason, and it has to be like at least 75% of songs that haven't hit the time of day. Even going off tangent, like the album I just dropped on Long Way to Reach Heaven, a lot of those songs is probably like a year old that I had in the hard drive, and probably 3 or 4 was brand new. So it's pretty much one of those things of like making sure that everything sounds cohesive and it makes sense and not sound dated. That's always been my main thing. But majority of like Bloo alone is like we at least have like 100 songs in my hard drive that hasn't seen the time of day, and probably go back to it and be like, yo, let's drop an EP and it'll be a song from like 2015 that makes sense, you know.
Sound like 2023 to somebody, you know, like
actually MF Bloo, there's a few songs on MF Bloo that's from 2015, 2016 before we dropped in 2020. A lot of the 2-song tracks, there's like 2 different beats. Those are a lot of older songs.
Victor Cree. No, I think it was Victor Cree.
Yeah, Victor Cree. Victor Cree is an old song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and PBS.
Actually, yeah, PBS. The PBS one is.
Yes, yeah.
But majority of the beats wasn't even wasn't even like structured as a beat. It was just like random loops, and he managed to catch a flow on them and just started rapping on them. So a lot of them beats wasn't even meant to be rapped on. But he managed to find a flow and rap on it. Like he's one of those like rappers.
I love that. The weirder the bro, you know, like
there was like 3 or 4 beats on there that it wasn't even supposed to rap on. He was like, I got a flow for it. And I was like, that's actually sounds pretty fucking good. But there's no like 1, 2, 3, 4, no structure on the beat. It's just random noise coming from different areas. And he just managed to find a flow and made it sound dope. So yeah, that's how crazy it was with that. So every time I hear those songs, I'm like, I can't believe that he rapped on them beats, but it came out dope, you know?
Or
That's awesome.
yeah, man.
No, it's great. And I think it's interesting because I was going to ask Ran, it feels like it's not easy for an outsider to get a beat from you. Like you are, I've seen your name very few places that is not your crew. It has to be particular.
Yeah, I'm very particular with who I mean, not to sound like that either, because I mess musically, I mess with a lot of dudes that's doing their thing. It's just I'm a personal guy. Like I like to be in the room with the artists. I don't like sending shit through email. I like to create with the artists. I like to mix the song. I don't like to send my stuff out and the mix sounds horrible, or I don't even like the song. There's no direction to the song. It's like at the end of the day, it's your baby. You know, that's how I treat my music. I don't want it to just go into random hands and somebody just touching it up. And I don't really agree with what the song is or how it's mixed down sonically, you know. So I'm very picky. I'm very picky on that. Plus, I'm a personal guy. Like if I could link, like if we have a good chemistry or good connection, that changes with the music. But if your energy is a little off when I meet you, then it's not really. Music is secondary to me. I rather the long term rather than just like one song, a one off on a song. I rather build a relationship that we can actually grow from the music, you know. That's why majority of the times if I do sign with somebody outside my crew, there's already dialogue there from conversation or just them pulling up to my lab, pulling up to the lab that we work at. They come to us, not we don't come to people, you know. That's how I like to look at it. Very RZA aspect of it, you know, like I like to treat it like the RZA, how RZA does it, you know, like any guy outside, you come to us, you know. We're not trying to work with you. You want to work with us. Not to sound like that either, because I mess with a lot of dudes, but it's one of those things of like if we could build as human beings and we both so happen to be dope at what we do, that will make sense with the music. The music is gonna grow from that. The energy is gonna come from it.
Yeah, no, I didn't even realize this about Ran until I saw your name smack in the middle of a really important Ty Ferris album. And I was like, oh shit, it's not easy to grab a Ran beat. Like, that's cool. Yeah.
And even with Ty Ferris, that was like a conversation that we had. We talked, we built, we met in person. He told me what we actually, when I made that beat for him, I was on the phone with him. I'm like, I just made this right now. Let me know what you think. He was like, yo, cool, send it. He was like, I'm about to lay it, bro. It was just like if he was in front of me. So that's pretty much as close as it's gonna get with that. Even with Mav, when I did an album with Mav, he's in Rochester. Obviously, I'm in the Bronx. So with that, it's pretty much we will talk on the phone every day. How we're gonna break down this album, how we're gonna separate ourselves from everybody else. So it was pretty much like if he was in front of me, like we were creating an album. It wasn't just the artist having all my beats and he's doing whatever he wants with it. I still had I mixed and mastered the album too. So it's like I still had my say with it with the artist, you know, rather than just emailing and then it going to God knows what, you know. So for me, it's personal. I like the dialogue, build, and from there it'll just transfer from the music afterwards, and that's pretty much what it is.
And when you with Bloo are creating an album, what is like your process together, like collaboratively? How do you guys collaborate, and how has that process, would you say, evolved over the decades now that you guys have known each other?
I would say that like now, as like we've been structuring, you know, album wise, it's just like, yo, all right, album mode, boom, gonna send you a bunch of beats. Killing. Yo, you go crazy, and then it's like giving Ran a fucking broken puzzle. And then he's just like, all right, cool. Let me just shuffle through here and figure it out, you know, the rest from there. But
It's
it still all makes sense though, because again, we still had some sort of theme in a way to the album before we made the puzzle happen, you know? It's like the dinosaur puzzle before you make the puzzle, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the way we start off is by the title first. We go with the title and then we work around the title. So if we're gonna do Blue Moon, we're gonna figure out how we're gonna go around that title, or what makes sense for that title, or what sounds like that sonically. How is it gonna make sense with just hearing that title? So every album that we do, we go by the title, and then we pretty much structure that from what the title is. But he knows what he has to do. I know what I have to do. It's kind of like just punching in on the clock and just doing what you do, and then give me the rest, and then we'll figure it out if it makes sense. It's not really. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's really no thought process behind it. We just you do here you go. Come back to me when you're done, and then we hear it together. And dope song. Let's do it. Let's finish this shit up. Like now we're actually challenging ourselves. Like I gave him a couple beats recently. I'm like, give me 2 weeks of that. Like 2 weeks, I need all them songs back so we could be finished. Just steel sharp and steel, you know? You know, it's one of those now. Like, we're bored enough to be like, yo, let's do an album in 2 weeks. I'm gonna give you all these shits to see how fast you write. And
well, it's not surprising to me, because I would say we've talked to a lot of really, really talented people, and what happens a lot of times is you've done this for so long, right? It's making puzzles, like you said, organizing thoughts versus songs. You've done this for so long that without trying to, you naturally organize it. So you don't have to worry about what is this theme or flushing it out, because if you just let yourself be free, your subconscious will put it together, because you've taught yourself that over the years.
I mean, even with certain lines that he says, and he pauses for a little minute, there's like an open space. I already know what he wants me to do, without him necessarily telling me like, yo, Ran, echo this out or echo this in. Like I already know. It's like we're so in sync without even being in the same room, that if he does something, I already know what he want me to do, or I already know what to put in before he even tells me. And he'd be like, yo, I was just thinking about that, you know, or I was going to tell you that. It's to the point that we don't even need to tell each other anything anymore. So yo, do what you do, and that's it. And then we'll figure it out later on. Even with Hook.
To work with other producers, I ain't gonna hold you, man. That's why I'm selected too, because it's like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna say, like, I'm like spoiled in a way. You feel me? Like I have those ready, so you know what I mean. It's like that's it. He's got it. I don't got to say much. Other dudes are gonna be like, you didn't add this, you didn't put that, you know, like. But
it's like fucking Derek Jeter and Paul O'Neill, you know, like fucking. Like it's like I mean, any famous duel out there is pretty much that. Like fucking with that, you know, like we know what we want, we know what we're gonna do it, how to do it, and that's pretty much it. And then whatever secondary, whatever extra thought process, I mean, whatever we have in mind of like a hook, because most of the time we don't have hooks, and then we'll make a hook out of a piece of a verse that he has, and then now boom, that's the song. Like Fonto, like in the new album.
Yep.
Fonto, right?
Favorite song on the new,
So Fonto, that wasn't a hook. That was a part of the verse. And the crazy part was like, yo, that sounds like a hook. Keep on saying that. And it just became that. And it's one of those, like, you know, like whatever makes sense, you know, and we just go with the flow. We don't really overthink shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like we know how to like help fill each other's pieces in, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I already know, like like he just explained, you know, if for some reason I can't think of a hook, I already know, all right, Rand's probably gonna have a hook for it anyway, you know what I mean? Like it's already indebted in there already. So
and let's just say necessary, if we both stumbled on a hook, it's a DJ. We find a DJ to scratch some shit, you know, like that'll be the one right there. If you hear a DJ, just know we couldn't think of a hook worth of shit.
when you said what you said, Ray, about Blue like holding his voice and letting like kind of signifying like you do what you do here. I thought of Laveau. Like I just thought of like the way he says that hook on Laveau. Am I right? Is that something where he sent you that vocal and you were like, I know what you're doing? Let's roll
Oh
with
yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, he recorded that, and I just knew. I mean, he said a couple of times I mean, he was very pissed that day. So but every bar he was saying, when I was hearing him rapping, I was getting more hype because I was like, holy shit, like he's going like, just the energy thing, like he's getting me hype, like kind of like this is the first time I'm hearing it. So as a fan, I could imagine somebody else hearing it. So in the hook part, I don't know if you noticed that you hear somebody yelling like, woo, that was me. So like because
Yeah.
because after whatever he was saying, it got me so hype. I was like, record me. I'm gonna just yell or just do a like chant so people feel it also, because I felt it that day. And but yeah, man, yeah, definitely he definitely channeled what he had to do. I was there when he did it and I was hyped. So yeah, I mean, I just knew what he wanted me to do. I already knew. And that's pretty much what it came out to be. One of my favorite songs too.
Yeah, man. Same.
I feel like we should spend a little bit of time, like Ran, K Diggy, and me just talking about Blue in front of Blue.
Yeah, right.
That'll be fun.
So you guys, I'll be over here in the corner.
Like what is like Blue is such a unique MC because yes, he can like, threaten to scoop your eyeballs out when you're fucking with him, but also like open himself up in a way. Like there was a song, I can't remember which one it was, but you kind of paused in the middle of the song and in the middle of talking about how your relationships had been and said, I need to work on that in myself. Like in the middle of the fucking verse, I was like, I love being a Blue fan. You just never know what the fuck is gonna happen.
Yo, bro, you know what it is? I have no fucking ego, bro. I don't have an ego. You know what I mean? There's no ego here. That shit is maybe the shrooms took it away, or I don't know, something. But, bro, I don't have that. You know what I mean? And when you don't feel that way, your confidence levels it glows. You know what I mean? But like not in an arrogant way. It's just like, oh, bro, I want to know what the fuck he's on. Why is he so like? You know what I'm saying? Like positive vibe. So like yeah, that helps, bro.
He's just himself. He's just himself. There's no rapper. I mean, he could rap his ass off, but he's really himself in his raps. It's like if you see him, you pretty much be like, oh, I feel like I know him through his music. Like it's one of those. It's not one of those like it's you get that off rip. He's just not. It's nothing to how he's being himself, and ain't nothing wrong. It's great to be yourself. A lot of these rappers can't be themselves,
right?
And you can kind of see that from in person. But with him, it's wherever you see is what you get.
Exactly, bro. And anyone who we speak always could consent to that, bro. So it's always the same,
Absolutely.
Okay,
I mean, I think
if I get mad, I might come out though. I don't know, of course, get mad.
We're all human.
Hey, what did you notice from deep diving with the world of Blue and Azul about Blue and the way the style?
Yeah, I what I would say is I like the musical chemistry between you two. Like it's actually like the more I think about it, it's actually like really profound in a way, because I think you're like Rand's music, because it's so warm, it gives Azul like a space to just like, I guess, breathe in a lot of ways. Like his personality can breathe. Like he doesn't have to, like, there's a lot of space in the beat and in the I don't know if this is making sense, the emotionality of the beat that just allows him to be natural and breathe. So that's why you can get very like quick turns of emotion. Like one verse he can be very like hard and be very like cutting, I guess, and then the next there could be a lot of warmth to a lyric, you know what I mean? And it all makes it all makes sense.
Yeah, that's what helps, and why it helps, so that why me and Ran pair well, because like it always depends on the beat he'll give me, because you know the beat is energy, and that shit just, it depends on the emotion of the beat, you know, and I could feel that shit right away, you know, like, so wherever it takes me there on that level, you know, then that's whatever's gonna be spoken about.
Plus,
Like,
we talk every day, so I know what he's going through, like, or whatever he wants, whatever he needs to talk about. So for me, being a producer, I go around with whatever emotion he's going through. It's like actor, director, you know, I need this.
Yeah.
If you're feeling this, I need you to put this part into this song. So that's pretty much what it is. So whatever he tells me, I go try to find something within that conversation that we had and paint that picture. I'm gonna give you the canvas, now you paint the picture of what that conversation that we had a couple of days ago. So that's the beauty of it. But then again, too, we're different. I mean, that's my friend, you know, that's my brother. So it's like, it's not like I just met this guy and like, yeah, hey, tell me your emotions.
Yeah, there's a level of trust. You can definitely hear the trust between you two.
Yeah, or even if we're both like, I mean, honestly, if he's not sure about certain things, I'm like, nah, trust me. And then later on, he'd be like, holy fuck, like, I didn't think that song was gonna be the one. And I'm like, you know, like, it's like there's a sense of trust that we both have for each other, you know. And if I think it's trash, obviously I'm gonna be like, I don't know, you know. I don't even think I ever said anything I didn't like. It was probably like little lines here and there. Can change this line in there. But besides that, it's just pretty much, yo, bro, do what you do. You know, I don't really filter nobody, you know, like, unless it's a little too much, you know, like, I'm like, all right, this is probably gonna go over a lot of people's heads. Let's just dump it.
Exactly. Try to get too woke, man, you know, but sometimes frustrating, you know, and frustrating, of course, letting it out on music is the best way to let out frustration. So it's hard, bro. It's hard not to do that. There's a lot of ignorant people in the world, though, so I don't want people to just be like, what the fuck is he talking about, bro? You know? But you know, I simmer down a little bit. Let me ease it in a little, bro. I put the loop for you know.
But then again, it's rare too that anybody dumbs it down, because like I said, like, there's no filter. Do what you do, vent out. You already, like I said, you already know what you have to do. I know what I have to do. And the day we don't know what we have to do, then we're gonna have to just sit down and figure it out. like, but other than that,
it's never like a stump, you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, when you were talking about actor director relationship, I thought of this story. Like, so Sergio Fellini, the Italian director, was known for not giving actors the full script, and like keeping people in the dark. And so he would be like, I need you to walk this hallway, and people would be like, what's my motivation? What's my character thinking? And he'd be like, look, I can't give you that. Just walk the hallway. Right. And they couldn't do it. But this Marcello Mastroianni is in most of the Fellini movies. And he could just give him no information to be like, walk the hall. And he'd walk the hall smoking a cigarette and get it. Perfect take. Like that. So that's an interesting, it just made me think of that relationship where you can like, Bloo can walk that hall and just do it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Like, and
I'll give you 11 different ways too of how I walk that hallway, or more probably.
100%. Like, because there'd be certain beats that I will give it to him thinking that he's gonna come with a certain flow, and it'll be a totally something I had like he just said, he's gonna give me something way different than what I thought, and then I'm like, I didn't think about that, but it goes, and that's what we're gonna do. Let's do it, you know. I ain't holding back. Let's just knock it out, you know. If it sounds good, let's go. I'm 100% with it. That's a good example, because that's exactly what he does. Usually, yeah. That's 11 different ways to walk in the hallway. There you go.
So, Kay, I think we are, unless you have another other. I was going to go right into my Spanish Ran theory, and
go ahead,
break it down. Okay, all right, and you're going to love this, Kay. Spanish Ran production is modal hip hop. it like modal jazz. It's modal hip hop, right? I was thinking about a jazz comparison. I was listening to a lot of Bill Evans.
Bill Evans, yep.
And Spanish Ran makes sense to me. That modal jazz characteristics, sparse chord changes where a single chord can last many bars, no strict written out progression, pedal points and drones, quartal chords to avoid accidentally sounding tonal. So there was a description of Kind of Blue.
Oh my gosh.
And it said, in favor of abandoned, let me see, represented in intersection of these influences, further expression of the cool style that Miles explored for much of his career. It abandoned the virtuosic, densely chorded branch of 50s jazz that led to Giant Steps and Countdown in favor of simplicity and harmonic space.
Wow.
You know that wow. When you say that, it makes sense to me. It's funny because when I was listening to it, like some of the songs, I was thinking like emotion. I settled on the word emotionality to describe the beat, but I was going to use the word sensual. I was like, nah, that's kind of weird. But then, like when I think of like a Blue and Green, like a Bill Evans on Kind of Blue, that's a very sensual album.
Well, yeah, and
sensual song.
It was described as like a scale versus a horizontal sound, right? That the 50 sounds was like, you know, a lot of notes in the same place together. So in hip hop, this would be like the trap hi-hats, right? Ba 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 ba, right?
Yeah.
Whereas a Spanish Ran beat will slide up and down the scale, like, and at a slower pace than a lot of those faster songs.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got more into detail than I ever thought about it. Yo, it's funny because you said Bill Evans, and I Googled him, right? I heard the name plenty of times. Ironically, his birthday is not that far from mine, which is crazy. So it's probably just a Leo thing. I don't know.
Yep.
Wow.
It has to be.
Yeah, August 16th. Wow, I'm August 18th. That's crazy.
Oh, wow. It's next week, awesome, man. Happy pre-birthday.
Happy birthday. Yeah. And it's fair to say I overthink this stuff. That's fair to say.
That's great.
That's beautiful.
All for overthink. There you go.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. It came out very like poetic. Actually, like I'm listening to it, like, wow, who is this guy?
It's but there's like that, and it's just a difference because if you think of like Kind of Blue, he let the sounds breathe, right? Like Miles knew he wasn't the best, like the fastest or most complicated trumpeter in jazz, but he knew if he hits it and holds it and organizes it, it's not going to sound like anybody else's shit at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Efficient. I mean, I will say, there's a level of warmthness and sensuality to your beats. I think it plays really well.
Yeah,
with Azul.
I mean, my main focus has always been the mixing on the production. So I always listen to other producers before me or how they get their beats mixed, because that's a big thing. Like, you know, so from how they mix the drums, or sometimes some producers like to overly produce and they make sure their drums hit more harder than usual to the point that you can't really hear the rapper. For me, I wanted to balance it out. So I always listen to, like, obviously, like Alchemist is a perfect example of how he has his instruments already mixed down and perfected to the point that it's clear, but it still gives you that warmth and grimy feel. But at the same time, I go with the J Dillas and the Madlibs. So I like to blend both of those sounds and structure to what I do and add my niche to it, because obviously, I mean, we're in the age now that, I mean, obviously with traditional hip hop, I like to call it traditional. I don't like to say boom bap, but like traditional hip hop and modern hip hop right now, you got these producers that they got the same type of drums, like like, you know, like the regular boom bapish type of sound, and a grimy piano, and that'll be like, all right, they're dope. For me, I like to add a little nicks and pieces of different, even the way I chop my samples. I like to throw a sample here and there that you didn't expect, kind of like play around with the sound and add the verses in between the sample or what I'm doing. That's why Blues is very good with that, because he'll structure his verse into a sample that wherever the sample says, he manages to go along with it, like if he's having a conversation with the sample. And that's what separates, even with him, like his style. But I like to throw missing pieces in my samples and my chops, to the point that it's not unpredictable. And at the same time, I like to add my little warmth and texture behind it. And the fact that you calling it the way it is a compliment, because I really focus on that a lot.
Yeah, his beats ain't boring, bro. You know what I mean?
No.
You're always there, like you're there with popcorn. Oh, something new just happened. Like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like you're always gonna and tune into something new in the course of the whole play, you know, which is so dope, you know. And
no, go ahead,
when I'm ping ponging off that is great for me, because that puts me in a different set of emotion when I'm just randomly listening to it, you know. So like, when I hear that, puts the effect I'm doing.
Yeah, like Knockout Ned, right? That was a beat that was bugged out. Like if you hear it by itself, it's beautiful, but it's bugged out. Like he's like, how is somebody gonna rap on this? And he managed to do it, you know.
Or that's my favorite one, mine personally.
Awesome. I mean it, and I think that warmth that you talk about, Kay, some of that, like we have to keep it real. Like the traditional hip hop has Latin sounds in it that have been in it, and there's a lot of the warmth that I think you're hearing is if they feel like Fania horn sections at points, or like, you know, I have a real connection to that music. When I was in the Army, my best friend was Jose. He took me to this salsa club in Korea, where everybody was.
Wow.
And I fucking hated it, hated the music, hated it all. But then I got home and I started digging into this old stuff and listening to Jorge Ben and like just all these different sounds. Laveau, you know, all that. And I was like, oh shit. And like now, and I can hear some of the warmth of that era in these beats. Am I making that up, or is that real?
Yo, you want to know how much of a madman that guy is right there? That whole beat, nothing Spanish about the sample. He didn't even get it from anything Spanish at all. That's and awesome. Managed to create that Frankenstein that it was.
That was a jazz record. This is all jazz, but he managed to make it sound like a salsa record. Yeah, that's all jazz. Yeah.
That was fantastic.
That's incredible. But that's so this music has like a salsa heart hidden within it. That's pretty dope.
It's bound to come out.
Yeah, that's dope.
Lavo is all jazz, and just pretty much managed to sound the way it's supposed to sound. Yep.
Wow.
Freaking nuts.
Yeah, that's incredible. So it's I'm glad that there are people that swear by the music, and it's, you know, the other thing that we have to talk about is the curation of these projects, right? I have never seen a Spanish Ran project with a bad album cover. Never seen it. The album covers are fabulous. The sounds are beautiful. Talk to me about putting the time in to make all the details right. Like how does that work?
Well, it starts off with my brother Dwayne Plains, man. Dwayne Plains is one of the most incredible artists, not just rap cover artist, like an actual artist. Like he can paint, he can draw anything.
Incredible.
So he's one of those dudes that if you have something in your mind, like I see this, I see that, he's going to paint it the way you have it in your mind. So if you see the cover of Once in the Blue, that was everything that pretty much was already in thought process in the mind that he just managed to put it out. Every album, the Emmett Blue one is pretty much the stamp of like, oh, this guy could do everything.
Right.
Yeah,
He could do anything. And I mean, I already knew he could do anything, but he could do everything. Like, if he could draw me and Blue fucking fighting, going to Civil War, if he wanted to make it look like acrylic, he would do that. So, like, if he wants us to look like the 16th Chapel, he can do it. That could be an idea. I don't know, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? But he's one of those guys. Whatever is in your mind, anything crazy that you had as a thought process, he could make it the way you thought, and he can do. And he's just incredible. He's incredible. Yeah. So it starts off with the idea, and then we bring it to the artist, and he takes a couple of days. He'll figure it out, and then he'll add his little niches here and there. But majority of the time, whatever's in the thought process, he'll present it to us probably like in 2 or 3 days.
So I'm looking for the cover for the new album. What was what was the inspiration for that cover?
I mean, you can see the Abbey Road vibes.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, a little mixture of that, just a mixture of Bronx, New York, with just a whole mixture of of that. You know what I mean? Like we try to give it kind of like a wholesome vibe, but like this album was personal, you know. So
yeah, definitely personal. Just walking my dogs. Pretty much like every day walking in the Bronx, going through life. If you hear the album, it's pretty much you'll feel the emotion. It was a personal. It was definitely a personal. It's probably the most personal album I ever worked on with Blue. Because during the time of stuff that we were going through personally. But so every time I hear the album, it hits me a little more different. So even with the cover hits different because, you know, from the personal aspect of it. But Abbey Road gave the inspiration behind it. Like you see the Beatles just walking in the street. And for me personally, I always looked at that cover as just being iconic, but it was just so simple, but so beautiful at the same time. But I wanted it. I mean, I told Dwayne if he could put that picture to life, gave him little details, and Blue added his nicks to the artwork as well, and that's pretty much what it was, you know.
If you guys do the Sistine Chapel album cover, it has to be a group project for the whole unit with everybody in the picture, right? It would be awesome.
That would be funny. I gotta look at the 16 Chapel. Just
might have to put like a pause on the other side. The cover.
Fingers touching the whole deal would be great. Awesome. So, yep. No, it is fantastic, and it is like it's reassuring because if you go to SpanishRan.com and you buy whatever new project is out but not on streaming, you don't get burned. You feel good every time.
Yeah, you don't. Yo, I was just telling him that, man. I compare that shit to like going to see Marvel. You know what I mean? You're gonna go to the theater to go watch it, right? But like the reason you do that is so you don't get spoiled. You know what I mean? You don't want to hear this and that. It's gonna come out on Disney Plus. I get it. It is. You know what I mean? But you gotta wait. You know what I mean? And by then, everybody already knows what's going on. You know?
Absolutely.
So you're better off just going to the theater, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
get the experience firsthand. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Experience firsthand. You know what I mean? You're already ahead of the curve. Everybody, y'all late. You know?
Yeah.
Awesome. No, it's that's the Kay. Do you have any other questions, or we can move into recommendation corner?
No, man. I just applaud you guys. You know, just this interview, I can see you guys' chemistry, and I can see that you guys, you know, trust and care for each other, and you know that's really reflective in the music. Before I even met you guys, you know, I could sense that in the music.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead, man.
Woo! That's great. So recommendation corner, I just added like I have a running Google Doc, K, of my favorite rappers of all time. I tried to build this list to an obscene amount. It's only 116 now. I just built it to 116. And I just added a bunch of people. But like somebody in this chat I was in was talking about Willie the Kid, and I was like, hell yeah. So he recommended The Fly too, which is great. Like Willie the Kid, so consistent, so good. That counts for something. I mean, some people like the ups and downs of like last album was terrible and this one's great. I don't like that. I really like consistency and appreciate it. And Willie the Kid is great. The other one that doesn't come up in these lists a lot is Evidence. Evidence as an all-time like
he's a
artist.
great producer. He's a great producer.
Yes,
he just did an album with Damo Genesis that was really good.
Oh,
Really
I love
good.
it. Yeah. But I was listening to Whether or Not from 2018, which is incredible. Alchemist Beats on there. Evidence is such a great organizer of himself.
Yeah.
And I was talking about that with people as like, when you talk about the best rappers of all time, and you're like, it's just bars, you're like, not for me.
Yeah, it's not.
It's organizing yourself for me as well. Yeah.
I mean, I could talk about there's a lot of great rappers. I mean, I always look at Jadakiss as one of the greatest rappers of all time, right? But for me, his albums don't really necessarily cut it for me. I'm more of a Styles P fan when it comes to albums. For him. So yeah, it could vary. You could be a great rapper, but it's like you said, it's a total package behind that. The albums, the art, even the artwork. You gotta make sure your artwork is there. The production is there, of course. The sonics has to sound right. Everything goes inside with just outside the lyrics. Obviously, the lyrics plays a most important role, but it all, for me personally, I think it all starts with the artwork, especially if you're a brand new artist. If you're a brand new artist, you want to give them an artwork that you can always be like, what the hell is this? Then it draws people into the music. And then the first thing that people catch on is the production. After the production, the lyrics is the cherry on top nowadays, you know. Some people is the hook, but for me, it's the lyrics. The lyrics is the all right. The production is dope. The artwork is dope. Let's see what he has to say or she has to say. And if it's very dope, now you got a new fan, depending on the person. But that's how I like to look at it, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of rappers that's really dope out there, but their albums fucking suck. You know, I'm content with their 16s actually. I'd rather have them as a feature than listen to the whole album. You know, I mean,
no, it's a real issue.
They can't do both of them. You know what I mean? There's some people that just can't balance both. It's either you get one or the other from them. You know. And
diehard Cannabis fan. I'm a diehard Cannabis fan. I grew up on Cannabis. Hate his album.
Well, that's a great thing to talk about. Thank you for segueing, Spanish Red. Since we missed State of the Game last week, I opened it up to my subscribers and said, hit me up, whatever album you think I should review. Not forgotten. Recommended Rip the Jacker by Cannabis, which is produced entirely by Stoop of Jedi Mind Tricks.
Wow.
And that's a fun album. It's
oh wow, shit. I just said the guy's album sucked.
Well, no,
I gotta go back to this shit.
We learned something new every day, man.
You weren't wrong. Like
about to rip them. I gotta go back.
But no, the first album.
I was about to destroy him, right?
No, but you're right. You like the first album is I for some reason just blame Wyclef.
Oh yeah, that's Wyclef.
Yeah. The production is just hollow. It's tinny. It's awful. It's just shallow. There's nothing there. And Stoop is this album's from like 2004 or something. Stoop gave it a lot of flavor. There's a lot of interesting flavors in those beats.
Yeah, I never heard.
Real good. Real interesting.
I gotta hear it.
Because of course now I'm not a big fan of now Cannabis. You know what I mean? Like it don't sound the same, man. You know, it just.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I opened my review by saying like I disagree with Cannabis on an artistic level. Like my favorite writers are finding concision. they're finding ways to elaborate complicated things in simple ways, right?
Mm.
Cannabis is always finding ways to like say like wildly dense, insane referential things as complicated as he can, so he confuses the audience.
Yes.
I just disagree with him on it, but it doesn't mean he isn't valuable, and I appreciated diving into that, being not a cannabis person. So that was cool.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of rappers like that. I mean, I could say Cassidy's a good rapper, but I never really tapped into his albums.
It's fair.
Who else? There's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, respectfully, Inspect the Deck, one of the greatest rappers of all time.
Yep.
But his albums never really hit.
Yep.
You know, I mean, but then again, too, in his defense, the album that was supposed to hit ended up getting caught in the flood.
Ooh, yeah. Different.
Like,
it's different if things, yeah.
It changes a lot of things, you know. So I give him, I can't say I give him a pass. It's just how the world worked, you know. But the album that I was supposed to make him was end up in the flood. But to me, the album that he dropped as a debut, it didn't really meet that expectation for me as a fan, especially coming off of Ghostface and Raekwon and all these guys run, you know. And to me, he's probably the better MC out of from Meth and all of them, you know, and he's the great starter upper, you know. So
yeah, if you're putting together a list of like the best guest rappers of all time, Deck has to be.
Without a doubt. I mean, how many quotable lines he has in classic songs, you know? He's one of those guys. But as far as albums go, it's like he didn't really reach his mark of expectation compared to the other members, you know. But there's a lot of guys like that outside of just him, you know.
Yep.
But yeah,
it's important to think about. I'm with you. Blue, what are you listening to? Recommendations for the people.
Yo, right now I've been going back to Britney Spears.
Oops, you did it again.
Yeah.
Shit, right now, let me see. Yo, besides, I listen to Us most of the time. Like I'll tap into albums. Off the top of the head right now, I could tell you probably like, oh, you know what's the fire one? My homie Blaz, 89. Walk on Water. He did. Doofus produced the album.
I love Doof.
Yeah, that's actually a really dope album.
I gotta get back into that. I didn't fully pay attention to that one, and I love Doof. I gotta get that. Yeah,
that's what. What was I listening to, man? I was listening to Frank the Fly Anakin. That's actually a really dope album. Yeah, man. I be going back to old shit. I ain't gonna hold you, like just to tap in. You know what I mean? Like, but right now, those are the top two right now I can think of the head right now because I listen to mostly Us, man. That's why, you know what I'm saying? We got so much catalog and stuff. I just love getting lost and going crazy, you know? Again, I tap into people, but it's always me. Yeah.
I'll also pitch a Bill Evans Moonbeams for the people. Get into the Bill Evans Moonbeams.
I'm gonna download that right now.
I think it's a 60s record. But yeah, I've been checking. So, Ran, you got anything you're bumping?
Mickey Diamonds.
No
Liquor Before 12.
No Liquor Before 12.
I gotta really listen to the whole album, but I've been a fan of Mickey for a little while.
Yeah, my shit.
That album is crazy. I love that album.
Yeah, I heard a couple songs. I gotta really listen to it, but I guess in general, of what he's been putting out, I've been tapped into his stuff. Who else? I'm going through the time. I'm actually going through my thing right now.
Yes, it was my phone. I'm on my phone. I was gonna do that too.
Actually, I just seen that. I'm actually excited to listen to Danger Mouse and Black Thought Cheat Code.
Ooh, that's coming. Yep.
Oh
yeah. 2 days.
Yeah, they already dropped another single, and all the singles that they've been dropping has been crazy. What else? The West Side Gun album. I feel like I've been tapped into it, but I feel like it could have been better. But the thing the thing with West Side is that he always creates this thing that makes me want to go back to it. So from the production standpoint, because most of the time it won't even be about the lyrics for me when it comes to his albums. It'll be about the production. Like, let me go back and listen to his production here and hear some weird, crazy shit. So the West Side album I've been listening to, the most recent one, the Kendrick album I've been listening to it a lot.
Yep.
Who else? Frank Flanagan I've been listening to.
Love it.
Other than that, I gotta really listen to the Joey Badass. I heard a couple songs that was pretty cool, but I gotta really listen to it to be like, I like it.
Yeah, I haven't been yet, but I'm a Joey Badass fan, like I was, but, yeah.
But other than that, and then pretty much all the new stuff that we did that's not even out. There's the old stuff. I'm already been there, done that. It's more of the new stuff. Anything new that we do.
Yeah.
And the Domino Genesis and Evidence album I've been liking a lot.
Oh yeah. That's a good one. The other question: when are we gonna get Spanish Ran T-shirts with this art on it?
Ooh.
We need to kick it to the next level.
It'll be the more the church shirts. It'll be all church shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, church, yeah.
Yeah, all the church shirts. Yeah. But yeah, sooner than you think, Very
SpanishRan.com.
Yeah. You gotta put the link in the put the link in the bottom of the video. There you go, right there.
It's right here.
Right here. Comment, subscribe, like, all that.
Word.
That's awesome. Kay, what are you bumping? What are you listening to?
I mean, I've gone nothing really new of recent, but I've been going to Kaytranada. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Kaytranada 99.9%. I've been listening to that album a lot, so.
I had a very funny rant, Kay. At the end, like we were watching the Umbrella Academy on Netflix, watched the ending episode, and they like ended it with like a kind of with a soul song from an obscure new soul band. And I had this rant with my wife. I was like, you can't play an obscure soul band at the end of your shit and run it, not have be some shit I already own and pump in the car. This is my shit. You found the heavy, I fuck with the heavy already. I'm ahead of your music coordinator. I'm hunting this shit. So she tunes me out, but it was fun. So yeah, I would say thank you for being here. I feel this has been something that like we've wanted to do for a long time. So
I appreciate it, man. I feel genuine. So you know what I mean? It makes it a lot easier, of course, man. You know what I'm saying, when we do this. So appreciate y'all happening.
I actually wrote an article that said like that musicians should have like subscription services. And that, like I use SpanishRan.com as an example. I was like, if Spanish Ran wanted me to pay $7 a month, like for what he's doing.
Oh, like a Patreon.
Yeah. So it was an interesting thing to think about, but yeah.
He definitely throwed it on the air, Ran. Man.
Build the brand. The brand is strong. You know what I mean? The brand is strong.
And that's definitely what we're building, the brand. You know what I mean? That's why the church. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Church. Yep.
Or
church out, people.